good for. And that the prettier you are, the more men would do for you, long as you learned how to do this. And I told him I'm going to tell my mother. He said, they won't believe you. Nobody's going to believe you. Everybody does this. So when he stopped, I went and took a shower, and I just laid there. I couldn't believe it, because here I was, a little Catholic girl, thinking that I'm going to save myself from marriage. I'm not going to sleep around. I'm not going to be with no other little boys. I'm going to save myself from my husband. Because that's what I was taught in my Catholic school. That's what the nuns tell you. You save yourself. You save yourself. So here I was with this shame. I told my mother and my dad, and they thought that it would be best for them to just give him, treatment, and started treating my friend because she had been having this done to her since she was 3 years old. But I was pushed to the side. So I understand about the rejection, because my parents didn't understand the rejection that I felt when they did nothing to this man who I just knew if my daddy didn't kill him, my mama was going to make sure he paid. So I went into the shower, quiet, being seen and not heard, wanting to take my life. So at age 13, I decided to take a bottle of sleeping pills and go to sleep. But God said no. I woke up in the morning throwing up. And my mother took me to the hospital, and they were able to pump 20 pills out of my stomach. They had not dissolved because God said no. So then there comes depression. Because why God wouldn't let me go? Why? You keep leaving me here, God. And at 13, he started drawing me closer to him. Going to Catholic school, looking at the nuns, not figuring out what in the world are they talking about. Parts of the service speaking in Latin. I don't know Latin. I asked them about Jesus, and they started calling me a demon child, because I wanted to know more about this God that they say that we have, this God we should serve, and who these other dead people that they say that we should serve. Christian, Catholics, you got to know about the saints. St. John, St. Jude, St. this and St. that one. I'm like, well, what did they do for me? Where were they at when this man was laying on me? Where were they at when my mother told me it's going to be all right? Where were they at? So I suppressed it. I kept it inside, but still inside my mind, those words that that man said to me went over and over in my mind. So I was no longer a virgin, so why should I save myself? So anybody that said I love you got a taste of me.
Break it on, keep it real. That's fine.
And I went closer and closer inside myself, trying to even know who I was. I looked in the mirror and I saw this ugly person that I didn't even want to look in the mirror. And if a man came to me and he didn't want sex, I wanted to know what was wrong. So then my mother started telling me, you need to go to church. You need to go to church. I said, okay. All right, I'll go to church. Went to church. And here comes the baby. 17 years old. Honor roll student. Full scholarship for college. And here comes my beautiful little daughter. So of course all those dreams were gone. But I kept on going. I kept on going. I kept on seeking God, and He kept drawing me. He kept drawing me. So I'm thinking, oh, I'm not doing that bad. I'm not doing things that bad. I'm not running out in the street. I'm not doing all these things that my parents told me to do. I'm going and working. I'm going to do everything that I should do. So then I meet her first husband. And I think finally, here's a man that I can pour all me into. Finally, God's restoring what was taken. Finally, I'm married. I was like, oh, my eyes married now. And he had a smile that would light up a room, and he had the charisma that every woman wanted this man. And I couldn't understand why he wanted little old me, but he did. But little did I know that he was very much a verbal abuse. He would never hit me because, see, my mama and my brother told me how to fight. He would never put his hands on me. And when I was angry, I wanted over the strength of bulls. I could knock people over and not even think about it. So I went inside myself. I had this anger in me. I had this frustration in me. I had this man who I looked to tell me that I was beautiful, I was wonderful, to start telling me that I wasn't nothing. He started driving a truck. And that kind of like drove him out of my life, because every stop, every state that he stopped in, he had a woman. So rejection again. And the bad part about it is that I know it because these women made it their business to call his wife. And tell me that my husband was there. And then all of this, God kept pulling me closer and closer to Him. I was working on my job, and I met this man named Wendell Speaks. He was a pastor in Baltimore, and awesome man of God. And he was doing Bible study at work, so I was like, okay, I need God, and I need Him fast. I need Him now. So I started going to Bible study. I wouldn't eat lunch. We would have Bible study every day, and God was pulling me and pulling me and pulling me, and I didn't know what to do because I'm in this marriage with this man who I know don't love me. And I'm trying to be a woman of God. I'm trying to be the woman that I'm supposed to be, knowing that when he leaves me, he's going to another. I'm trying to raise now 2 children because we had a beautiful son. And still trying to smile and still trying to act like everything was okay. Only thing what people say about me is all the time is, you're so quiet. They didn't know inside I was screaming, Lord, please help me. I would go to church, sit on the pews and smile like nothing was going on. I would go to people would be in need, they need prayer. I would go there and I would pray for them and ask God to help me in the midst of my prayer. I did everything I could in the church, thinking that would help me feel better. Anything the pastor asked me to do, I would do nothing was too hard. If he told me to clean the toilets because we had service coming, I was in there cleaning the toilets. But I still was broken. Still was that prisoner. And I didn't know how to get out. So I began to be at church every single time the door was open. Some people thought I lived there. And church was open in the morning. I was meeting the pastor at the door. And when it closed that night, I was the last person to leave, picking up programs, whatever I had to do, just so I wouldn't have to go home. And then one day, my darling husband decided, oh, it's time to leave. And me and my crazy self, I'm begging him to stay. Don't put this mess out in the open. It's bad enough that everybody knows that you're sleeping with everybody, but don't get a divorce now. Everybody knows. But he did. He left to go be with the girl that he, well, used to be, because he's not with her now either. That's another story.
All right.
But he left, but he not only left just with my dignity, with my heart, with everything that I had in me, but he also cleaned out our joint bank account. He also wrote checks against that bank account. A bank account that my paycheck was going into. So 2 months after he left, I was paying for the furnishing of his house with his girlfriend. Because I couldn't stop it. The bank wouldn't let me stop my direct deposit until it became positive in the bank. So my paycheck would go in, and I had to take care of 2 kids with nothing. Family would help. They'd give me some food. I had just enough to pay the rent. And that was it. But God. In the midst of all that I went through, he drew me closer to him. I learned how to pray.
That's it.
I learned how to pray and pray and pray and give it over to God and lay it down and ask God to forgive this one, to forgive that one.
That's it.
One day I ran across the man who raped me. And I thought when I ran across him that I would try to hurt him.
Yeah.
But I told him I forgave him. And this man stood before me and cried. That's when I knew God was really doing something in my life. I felt no hatred. I just felt sorry for him. I asked God to deliver him. And he thanked me. And surprisingly, I hugged him. Then a couple years later, my ex-husband calls me. His sugar's up to 500 and something, and can I pray for him? That's when I learned I could pray for people who hurt me. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, Lord, I'll be honest, I don't want to pray for this man. You know all he's done to me, and he's calling me. He don't know nobody else to know the Lord. But God told me to pray. So I began to pray for him like I would pray for my father, like I would pray for my brother, like I would pray for my son. I began to pray for him. And in the midst of me praying for him, he was in a hospital. And a nurse is saying, I don't know what's going on, but your sugar just dropped 200 points. That's when I knew the power of prayer. That's when I knew what God started doing in my life. See,